Thanks everyone for joining. My name is Saurabh Gupta and I'm joined today by Velu Palani and all of you guys here. So really the intention of us getting into this conversation was that, we spent a lot of time talking about how CRM data strategy and CRM at large and Salesforce in particular, how a lot of it gets maybe funded at times, but do people really get it? And we wanted to talk about some of the narratives and some of the artifacts that we have found very useful. Getting into this, fundamentally, the idea is that we are living in a data economy, right? Data is driving our experiences, and we expect no less as customers, as consumers, as benefactors of any of these things. And what's really interesting is that customer data fuels everything. What you see is the CRM data strategy and CRM itself. Its value in the organization, its strategic impact has dramatically risen.
This topic today is again about CRM data. How do you get the buy-in from your various stakeholders about the CRM data strategy? I've been in the ecosystem for many, many years. What I have noticed, every projects that I've been involved, CRM or a data strategy for CRM implementation is always a secondary. So whenever I talk to the execs, it's not about they don't want to give you the commitment or they don't want to give you the support. They don't understand the reason behind it. So it's very, very critical for us to help them to understand why their commitment is important. And especially on the middle side, you see the 18 to 69% CRM project failure. Platforms like Salesforce, if you are not able to leverage the platform to full extent or even to like 30%, 40%, I consider that project is not a success.
The cost of data strategy is really become unaffordable. And there are two components, right? On one hand is all the strategic value you can get and transformation you can do and all the great stuff. But on the other hand, it's the fact that we can't afford anymore to not have a well thought through data strategy. And we can't afford for our organization to not understand and get behind it.
What statistics say that only 10% of the data that is captured globally is, across the board in an enterprise level is unique. 90% of them are duplicated or replicated. The same data lies into multiple areas or multiple applications. So I think the important piece for all of us to understand why are we failing, I think it's because proper education and change management, that has to happen from the day one, especially for the CRM systems.
How do we avoid this, right? How do we get a buy-in across all levels, almost all levels, I guess, and across functions? Yep. How do you make sure that your non-tech departments, and everyone in the organization is buying in? And we've boiled it down to three areas that we want to dive a bit deeper into. The first is a trend. You look at a trend and you map it to your business vision and strategy. The thing that's interesting about trends in general is it's kind of hard to argue with trends. The second part of this is the customer journey. I find this as an invaluable tool of bringing, your various business owners on the same page. When you look at mapping your customer journey across all touch points and you overlay that with systems, your gaps from a data strategy start to appear evident to everyone, right? They start to emerge. The areas of opportunity are clearer. And that gives rise to programs, projects, initiatives, things like that. And you look at a combination of trends in customer journey, and what also starts to emerge is all of these other CRM data strategies, deficiencies, issues that need to be fixed for your company or for your customer. And those align really well with your product owners, people in delivery. This is kind of what will then give rise to user stories and use cases that your organization or your client's organization may need to address. The second part of this is the customer journey, which we'll break further into. And that's kind of where you're looking at more from a business owner perspective. If I had marketing, sales, HR, finance, audit, compliance, legal, whatever department, I can look at a customer journey and start seeing here is where my department can be more strategic. And there is really no magic bullet. There is no software that will fix it for us. You can bring in seasoned help in consulting companies, but at the end of the day, an organization really needs to own it, internalize it, and have a buy-in so that they can see in the longer run how it aligns with their business vision and their strategy. Like if you think about strategy, it just, and doing a buy-in for it effectively, it starts by mapping a trend relevant to your business vision and strategy. And then you want to map your customer journey across all touch points. This is kind of really useful to collaborate with other stakeholders who may not otherwise be necessarily involved. And you leverage this across the board and help your stakeholders understand and buy into it and participate in a manner that adds more steam to your organization.